Being under a lot of pressure unbalances your mental, your physical, and your emotional well-being. This is why it is important to know how to identify specifically what type of symptoms you might have on a daily basis to know if you're under a lot of stress. Because stress is common. It is something that all of us are gonna go through at some point through one situation or the other. But it is not healthy and not safe once you start having this type of symptoms. So this is why I'm making this video today. This is why I come to you today to let you know what are the 5 key important symptoms or ways to know if you are under a lot of stress. The first sign that might tell you that you're going through a lot of stress is that you might be getting sick very often. So whether it is getting sick too often or getting sick but taking a lot of time to recover, then that might be one of the signs that you're going through a lot of stress. Your defense mechanism, your immunological system might be suffering for sure due to the continuous stress that you are having. So what to do in these cases? My case would be, first of all, of course, in any of these symptoms is realize that you're going through a lot of stress, probably looking at ways of how to relax yourself, how to take it more slowly, how to take time for yourself, how to slow down. And specifically in this case, if you're getting sick too often, then it might be a good idea to have some vitamins, specifically A and C. The second symptom or sign that you might be having a lot of stress is that you are not getting enough rest. And what I mean by this is that even though you might be sleeping 8 to 10 hours, then it's probable that you're still not feeling rested enough or well rested throughout your days. You might end your work day and you feel very tired. So this is probably because you're going through a lot of stress and the effects that this has in your body. So what to do if you have this second symptom? If you are going through this, it might be a good idea to take a moment before you go to bed to write things down, maybe do a journal entry or do a voice note, record something, even on on video if you prefer it, or voice note as I mentioned, or even just talk it out with someone, with your partner, with your friend, with your roommate, I don't know. Whatever version works best for you. I think it's a good idea to just take it all out, take a moment and have your mind translated into something else, whether it is paper, a voice note, or a video. Then just take it all out. It might also give you some clarity the day before. So what I mean is like that specific night, so that you're ready for the next day, right? And you know specifically, okay, this is bugging me right now, or this is all the things that I have in my mind right now. Now, what am I gonna do tomorrow? What are gonna be my priorities tomorrow in order for me to let all this stress right now out, leave it there, and go to bed in peace. The third sign that you might be going through a lot of stress is that you are experiencing some insomnia. Insomnia, even though like sleeping troubles have a lot of causes, stress is definitely one of the specific ones that are directly related to insomnia. So if you're experiencing any type of insomnia, then it could be a clear sign that you are going through a lot of stress as well. Related to the previous point, if you have all these things in your head right now and you try to go to sleep with all of that inside of you, then it's probably not a great idea. It's just something that you're gonna, keep spinning around in your head while you are trying to sleep, while you are there laying down in your room, all dark, all quiet, and then you're all alone by yourself in your head, thinking and overthinking about all the stuff that you didn't let out because you didn't do what I mentioned in the second symptom. So my recommendation for this third point is that you practice some exercise. So as you can see or hear, all of this is very related to self-improvement, right? Because we're trying to get very good rest through the night, get all our sleep in. We're trying to get vitamins because we need them as well for our daily life and for resting well. Magnesium is a good one as well for resting at night. Then we are also gonna be leaving things clear in order for us to be more productive on the next day and, you know, tackle all things that we need to do. And then we're also getting some exercise, because exercise is very important not only for our physical well-being, for our appearance and our image, but also because we want to let all that energy out. And that energy out is obviously gonna help us sleep better, get some better rest. Like whether it is the first thing in the morning, like an hour and a half, whatever, depending on your goals is, or at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. I wouldn't recommend it really going to the gym or doing some exercise right before you sleep, because it can be contradictory, the effect, and it can also give you some energy. You know, all the endorphins that you're gonna get from exercise might not be the best answer to sleeping well. But if you do it at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, then that's perfect and the recommendation. So another alternative thing that you can do, it's basically doing some meditation or breathing exercises before you go to bed in order to combat these like insomnia effects, right? But it ultimately depends on you, on your preference. If you are more of an active person, then you might be better off at the gym and taking all your energy out that way. But if you are more of a calm person and you go through, you know, different types of methods, then it might be a good idea and a good approach for you to meditate and do some breathing exercises to calm yourself down and to just debrief from the day. Fourth symptom that you might be experiencing is that you suffer of headaches, constant headaches or very strong headaches. Then it's probably a very direct relation to feeling them and having them because of the tension that you are going through, right? And tension, of course, is related as or translated as stress. So ultimately, when this happens, tend to take some medication, right? Like aspirin or I don't know, some Advil in order to combat this. But a lot of medication or pills are definitely not good for your body, and ultimately they will affect your organism. So you shouldn't be like taking this approach if you are suffering of headaches. So when this happens, it is quite tricky, because I'm not gonna say just relax and, you know, focus on the fact that you're gonna be more chill or breathe and your headache will go away. Sometimes obviously it's not like that, and that's when it's those cases, then obviously do something else. I would personally recommend or think that maybe some essential oils are good for that, whether it's like just putting some on your wrist and smelling them, or just putting them here like next to your eyebrows. It can also be some other ways of like more traditional and holistic medicine that could help. I'm not saying it will. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a holistic person in any ways, but at the end of the day, that's the things that I've tried myself and that the others around me have also tried and could possibly work. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. Like whether it is medication, essential oils, or some other way, like it could be just debriefing, you know, like if you're working a lot, if you have a lot of tension, if you're like going through a lot of stress and you know about it and you're like, okay, this is very stressing, this is a lot of work, this is overwhelming, then just take some minutes for yourself, like stand up, stretch a little bit, do some like movement, you know. You might not be able to get out and go for a run or do some exercise or I don't know, whatever it is, but just take some time for yourself, breathe and debrief. Because whether it is going for a cup of coffee or some water, or that's one of the main recommendations that I could possibly give, and that it won't affect anyone. Just like breathe and take water for sure. Like hydration is so important for that and for anything in our day-to-day activities, right? See for yourself, and whatever approach you decide to take, then the important thing is that you overcome those kind of symptoms, such as a headache. Finally, the fifth and last symptom that you might be having, or sign that you are going through a lot of stress, is that you are having a lot of tension in your muscles. And this can also translate to feeling like muscle soreness in some way or another, you know, like maybe in your shoulders, maybe in your traps, in your, I don't know, somewhere here. It's always gonna be like the tension that we feel because of stress and because of, you know, whether it's work or life or whatever it is, then you're always like, oh, my neck is tense. And I don't know, like for me at least, it's very easy for me to crack my my back, my bones and stuff like that. So I know that whenever I do this and it starts cracking, then I was like, okay, that was a moment where I was like tense probably, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of tension for sure, because I was working, because I was too focused on whatever I was doing, or I don't know, whatever it was, right? So if that happens, then it might be a good sign that it is because of stress, because you're going through a lot of tension. Ultimately, stress and tension will affect your adrenaline levels and your hormones. So this is ultimately also what causes your muscle soreness or your tension, muscle tension. So the best way to attack this symptom or this sign is to maybe schedule that appointment that you needed so long ago to go and have that massage. Or even if like you are thinking, oh, maybe financially is not the best way for me to release this tension and to, you know, go to a massage appointment at the end of the day, then you can always look into other options, such as like, I don't know, those kind of like devices that you could do for yourself, like foam rolling, or even those like techie things that you put on your shoulders and your neck, and it gives you some type of massage. I don't know. If it's too expensive to go to a massage therapist, then just look into other options that could help you to release that tension. It can also be like hot compresses of like, you know, like those warm pillows, or like a towel with warm water that you put on yourself and stuff like that. Ultimately, as I mentioned, it's like all these important ways and things that you can do in order to release that tension, to release that stress and pressure that you have on yourself because of work, because of life, because of activities, or whatever it is. And there's always a way out. There's always a solution to any problem. So that's the way I like to see it. That's maybe for a lot of people very optimistic, a lot of positivity, or I don't know. But I like to see it that way, and I know that in this case, for stress, there's always something that we can do towards eliminating it. So that was all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if it was useful for you in this case, or if you think that someone around you is very stressed right now, they need to release that tension, then just send it to them. Share this video with them, and I think it's a good way for you to, I don't know, just do something good towards someone else and not only for yourself. But at the end of the day, we're also here watching this content and in this channel because we want to worry about ourselves and self-improve ourselves. Thank you so much once again, and I hope you stay here, subscribe, and see you on the next one.